each other. Larry Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio. So happy to be here on the Voice of Liberty here in glorious Western New York. 585-346-300 is the number. 000. 3 zeros is the number to call after the first break. You know, I tell people sometimes what I do for my day job. Yeah, I'm doing air quotes for that. I got to pay bills too, like everybody else does. And when I tell them that sometimes I do consulting for defense attorneys, for people who are accused of a crime, and I will help the defense attorneys maybe craft a story, ask questions, prep a witness, may help them to gain, pick a jury, any of those things that are required. And I remember a story about one young lady in her 20s, and she was accused of using fake credit cards, credit card numbers, basically fraud. So I chatted with her, and as being part of the defense team, I get all the information. So I know who's actually guilty and who's not. So when I tell you innocent people go to jail, I've watched innocent people go to jail. Usually, to be forward with you, the vast majority, and I mean the vast majority of guilty people are convicted. It's probably 99.9%. The vast majority are. So she was in trouble for it. This wasn't her first time. She had hung up with her boyfriend, and she'd done it before. And he got arrested, and so did she. And after they got arrested, they got in some trouble, but not big trouble. It was a small thing. She came back after she broke up with him, and she went to go do it again. So I asked her, very fair question. I said, okay, so you were hanging out with your boyfriend. He was a bad influence on you. She said, yes, he was. And he showed you how to do this stuff. She went, yes. You got in trouble for it. You got arrested for it. Yes. You did it. Yes. Okay. You're not with your boyfriend anymore. No, not anymore. He is in a different city. Great. Why'd you go back? Right? Boyfriend's not there anymore. You got in trouble. Why'd you go back? She said, well, I kind of needed some money, and I just knew it. And it was just, in my mind, it was safe because I knew how to do it. And I said, wait a minute. Okay. So you're saying you thought it was safe, but you got in trouble before. So you've been arrested before. She went, yeah. You thought it was safe. She went, well, I knew it. I said, okay. And we tried to help her with the defense. Obviously, I'm not for guilty people not going to jail, but I am for everybody getting due process and getting a fair trial and a fair sentence for whatever they did. That I'm all about that. Always have been. Why would I tell you that story? Because there's two parts to that story. Part number one is, if you have a lot of money, you can get a fair trial in America. I would say, if you have 6 figures that you can spend on your defense, you can get a fair trial. You got 7 figures, you might even get off. What if you have 8 figures? I know someone who got in trouble about 4 or 5 years ago and had 8 figures worth of money, and they got off completely. That person, his name was Andrew Cuomo, AKA King Cuomo II, second of his name, grabber of butts, closer of businesses, banisher of conservatives, and also killer of grandparents. That's the guy who we as in New Yorkers, paid anywhere between, depending upon who you listen to, $20 and $60 million to pay for his defense. I wish I was joking. I'm not. With that kind of money, could somebody get off? Well, he did. Remember? First, there was supposedly an investigation for him killing the old people in the nursing home. That went away. Then he was supposedly the butt grabber, but he was Italian or whatever story he made up, right? I didn't know Italian people randomly grab people, but I guess he decides that. I'm not Italian, so if you're Italian, you can tell me. Do Italian people randomly grab people's butts? I've never noticed that. I've known many Italians. I don't know any of them who randomly grab people's butts, but I guess he says that's true. And that went away. Huh. That's interesting. But now there's a second piece to that, which is that young lady knowing that messing around with stolen credit card numbers is going to get you in trouble. Knowing it. Already being arrested. Knowing it. Still went back. And her words were, well, I thought it was safe because I knew it. Why do I tell you that? Because Andrew Cuomo is running for mayor of New York, my city. And so many people who can't stand him, they say, there's no way he killed the grandparents. No way he locked us down. No way. Oh, yes way. Why? Because he's safe and we know him. Just like that young lady who walked right back in to a criminal record for a second time. Just like her. She went back to something she knew was bad. Again, she had been burned by it already. She went back and got caught again. Because her words, it was safe because I knew it. Her boyfriend had taught her how to do it. So she knew the scam. She thought it's all good. Yeah. You might go, wait a minute, Larry. Are New York City voters that bad? Okay. Have you seen our current governor? Yes, they are. New York City is 6-1, Democrat to Republican. So the Democrat's going to win. That's going to happen. The question is, will that Democrat be Andrew Cuomo? And I would say, yes. He led his press conference with, when the government leads, his words, there's nothing New Yorkers can't do. That's his words. Not when the people lead or business leads. No, when government leads. That's what he believes. Well, I don't know if he believes that, but that's what he's going to say. He says that. And I went. Looking at the most recent polls I could find, he's beating everybody by 20 points. Yes. Andrew Cuomo, second of his name, grabber of butts, killer of grandparents, closer of businesses, is leading in New York City by 20 points. He's beating Adams by 11 points, but who's at 11%. He's at 30%. There are 10 people in the Democratic race. 10. And you're saying, Larry, if they all know what you know, since you think you're super smart, and I do think I'm super smart, but I might not be. I do think I am, though. They know, so why are they running? Why waste their time? Cuomo was a done deal, right? Did you just say that? I did say that, and it is true. So why would they run? There are two reasons why they're running, which makes things even worse. Most of them know Cuomo's going to win, if not all of them. And most of them are going to drop out at one point and endorse him, probably in July after they lose the primary in June, and endorse him, of course. So why would they run? There are two reasons why. Reason number one, New York City has matching funds, 8-1. 8-1. So if you raise $250,000, New York City will give you $2 million taxpayer dollars. 10 people are running, $20 million. Yes, it is a gift to the consultant class. class. That's what it is. It's a gift to the grifters. This is how I pay everybody back for supporting me. So all those people who are running locally, who have to pay off everybody else, do this, raise $250,000, get $2 million, and give it back to all the consultants. I'm not joking. It's legal. I've told you several times that grift and corruption is legal in New York City. It's legal in New York State. It's okay. That's why if you ever notice, all of the charges that come in these cases, they're always federal because it's illegal federally, because the nation knows it's wrong. But New York State, no. This is how we do business here. That's how it works. So that's number one. They do that so they can raise money and pay off their buddies and their cronies. Number one. So New York City, if you live in New York City, is going to take $20 million of taxpayer dollars and give it to these guys so they can run around and grow themselves. It's free money. Free money. And we thought the credit card girl was bad. She's nothing compared to these guys. Nothing compared to these guys. I'm still not done. Why? They just want the money line? That's it? Well, that's important. Yes. Second piece. Now they raise their profile on the government's dime, on a taxpayer dime. I raised my profile. Thank you for the $2 million, New York City taxpayers. I'm going to take that money and do commercials and go on TikToks and do my Facebook ads and go on CNBC or whatever. I'm going to go on all these places. And when I go on all these places, I'm going to raise my profile. So I can win my race again easier so no one can stop me, or I can now run for something else. So I was a city councilman. Now I can run for state senator. Or I was a state senator. Now I can run for Congress. Or I was a state assemblyman, and now I can run for the actual Senate. I can do all those things and keep raising my profile. And then maybe if Kathy Hochul fails, I can get myself something like a lieutenant governor job or something like that. I could scam and get into somebody's administration because I've raised my profile. All on taxpayer dollars. The question is, why wouldn't they do it? We've created a system to where it makes sense for them to do it. Well, Larry, why would the taxpayers deal with it? Because it's safe and we know it. Boy, do I wish that was a bad story. And I'm sorry, an untrue story. But it's true. If you don't believe me, you can ask me. 585-346-3000 is the number. Larry Sharpe here on Shortwave Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your calls and your chat. I see you after the break.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies depicting the colorful WYSL logo or the already famous Mount Rushmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WYSL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Leon, you see this most likable spokesperson poll?
Really? I might know somebody. Oh, we're looking forward to this today, aren't we?
Seriously, guys.
I will come back with another Cuomo clip.
Ooh, who's a good spokesperson? Two puppies?
No, they don't.
Did not expect that from you.
One for you.
In the radio business, it's what we call evergreen.
Go to West Her. Welcome to West Her, New York.
Hi, my name is Evan Spindleman, founder and owner of Flood Broker. Flood insurance premiums are skyrocketing, and if you have to have flood insurance coverage to secure your mortgage, you owe it to yourself to call me to see how I can save you money on your flood insurance premium. The insurance programs I use are bank accepted and will satisfy your loan requirement. Please give me a call at 585-736-4366 today to get a free no obligation quote. That's 585-736-4366. Call today.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
And if there is a move to deport immigrants, I say then start with me.
Oh, I wish we had. That would have been amazing. Larry Sharpe here on Shortwave Radio on the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number to chat. Yes, some of you are surprised saying, he's back? Oh, he is. He is. But I got to tell you something that's kind of one of the reasons why he's going to win. There's another guy running who actually I know. We're not friends, but I know him. He was on my show. His name is Zoran Mamdani. He is my state senator. He's actually a very nice man. If you meet him, you'll like him. He cares about New York State, New York City. He does. It's true. He is far too left for me. He is a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. Why would he be popular? He's a relative compared to the other 10 people running. He's a relative to nobody relative to them. Why is he in third place? He is in third place. Why? Because Zoran actually has answers. I'm not joking. Now, there are answers I don't like. Obviously, they're very far left answers that I would disagree with, but it doesn't matter. I've been telling you forever, when people are desperate and want something, anyone who has an answer, you'll listen to. We go, Larry, Republicans have answers. Not at the city or state level, they don't. I also know Curtis Lewa. Also, I like him. Know him, like him. Good guy. His answer? More cops, Dems bad. That's not answers. You don't want to hear that. Eric Adams, he hasn't been working at all. I mean, he's been showing that his answers don't work. So people don't care about him. Cuomo's already talking about being in charge and changing stuff. And so is Zoran. That's why they're popular. Because people want answers. In my perfect world, there are multiple people who are out there hooping and hollering, trying to come up with answers, and we find the best ones, and we use them. That's my magical world of, I guess, leprechauns and unicorns, because that's not what actually happens. What happens is one guy yells, other guy bad. And then the other guy, who's supposed to be the bad guy, goes, here are my terrible ideas. And New Yorkers go, I got nothing and terrible. Guess I'll take terrible. And that's what we wound up getting again and again and again. So no shade to Mamdani. I think he's a good guy. But if he was actually able to have his ideas fight against other actual ideas, it'd be a whole lot better, is what I'll say. Here's the issue. If for some reason Cuomo doesn't win, and I can't, unless he drops out, I can't see it. Mamdani could win this thing. And you would say, wait a minute. Mamdani, no way. This guy you just said, Larry, he's very far left. He is. He's similar to a de Blasio in that regard. Maybe further left than de Blasio. Yes, I know people are like, what? Further left than de Blasio? Yes, he probably is. The issue is, does he have answers? People will take it, no matter what. That's the issue. So let me grab a couple of comments if I could. John says, ultimate irony from Queen Kathy is claiming the tariffs will hurt New Yorkers when she and Cuomo have hurt us for 15 years. Accurate statement, John. And to be very clear, a Republican has not won any statewide election in this state now for, is it 23 years now? 23 years. Nothing. So you can be mad at Republicans if you want to. I get it. You can be. I'm mad at them all the time. But I can't blame them for New York. That I can't do. They have not been in charge in any way for at least 23 years. So an entire generation of destruction is completely the Democratic Party's fault here in New York. So you're right. So now what we're going to do is blame Canada. Wasn't there a song, Blame Canada? We should bring that song back, John. Democrats should have that song here in New York. Blame Canada. It's Canada's fault New York's in trouble. I love that. We just gave them, John, we probably shouldn't have done that. We just gave them a new plan. So yeah, we probably shouldn't have. Mike Voss is here. Oh, he is bringing the details. Mike Voss says, His secretary, I think meaning Cuomo, confirmed a call with top New York State Dems in the legislature where Cuomo admitted his lockdown policy led to 16,000 deaths, and he covered it up to hide from the federal investigation. Evil. Totally accurate. He's not a good man at all. And why would we go back to him? Because we know it. He goes on to say A.G. James investigated 7 accusations of his butt grabbing. I don't want to say the words, get in trouble, but the bad things that he was accused of carnally. She publicly stated that 11 separate of those acts occurred at least. That's what she said. I remember that. She did a whole press conference. I remember that. And he goes on to say, Cuomo walked on all of it. Yes. And let me explain why he did. Mike is correct here. Let me explain why. People think it's just because he had the money. That is a reason. But a bigger reason is, for those of you who don't remember, there were a whole bunch of governors who threw their old people into the nursing homes where they died. I mean, like 4 or 5, maybe more. I remember like 5. There could be more, but I remember like 5. All of them could be in big trouble. If Cuomo got investigated for that, what Mike just said, if he got investigated for the lockdown policies and the nursing home policies, all of those governors would also get in trouble. Democratic Party could not have that. Democratic Party couldn't have 5 Democratic governors go down at once. No way. They can sacrifice 1, maybe 2. They can't sacrifice 5, and Trump is still around. No way, impossible. So they cut a deal. They went, okay, Cuomo, we need you to take the fall for the buck grabbing. Take the fall for that. Everyone will forget about the nursing home thing. We'll scrap that from the news cycle because we'll pump the butt grabbing stuff, and everyone will take that. Then we'll let you walk on that. What do you think? He went, so I walk on everything? You walk on everything. Just take the fall now for the butt grabbing so we can flood the zone so no one can even talk about the dead grandparents. Those are gone. Then you'll walk on that. You'll come back. Don't worry. We'll get you back for something else. It's fine. You're loyal to us. We'll get you something. And he was like, all right. Then he took the fall, resigned, saying whatever he was going to say. Remember, he was going to fight. Remember? He was the one saying, no, I'm just Italian. Italian guys just grab butts. It's what Italian people do. Why are you racist? That's literally what he was saying up front. Remember that? Then that all changed. Deal was cut. That changed. The media forgot about the old people. He was the butt grabber. He then had his woman secretary or chief of staff write a book for him saying why he's a great guy, not a butt grabber. Everything goes away. And now he's running for mayor. Everybody's happy. That's what actually happened. And then it may sound like, Larry, that sounds almost sinister. That's normal. That's the thing. Remember all you guys back in November when you all said how Eric Adams was finished? And I said, no, he's not. He'll cut a deal. And you all thought I was stupid. Yeah, I wasn't stupid. He cut a deal. That's how it works. You guys think, well, if it was me, yeah, if it was you going to jail. That's how that works. If it's you, you are going to jail. That's correct. You mayor of New York? No. You governor? No. Particularly if you have people who will work for you, you have leverage, you have money, you're not going to jail. You're cutting a deal. And both of them did. And Adams, not going to jail. I told you he wasn't. And Cuomo, not going to jail. I told you he wasn't. And you all were like, they got him dead to rights. No, they don't. And it doesn't matter if they did. Like, it doesn't matter if they did. That's the worst part. Even if they did, it doesn't matter. That's the worst part. So, yes. Let me grab one more from Mike. He's got a lot of stuff going on here. I want to grab a couple of his things. He says, Cuomo will bring more hell to New York City. Expect more corruption, even less efficiency. Can't wait till he tells every business and person that isn't progressive in New York City. and watch stock exchange move. All right. I got something to say about all of those, Mike. But I'm up on a hard break.
God bless America.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon, Rochester. WLEA WCKR FM Pornell. Canisteo Valley Update.
The Hornell Sports Night Committee says this year's male athlete of the year is going to be Canisteo Greenwood's Colton Haven. Colton Haven plays football, does wrestling, and runs track too. Colton Haven is a 5-time Section 5 sectional wrestling champ, a 5-time New York State place finisher, including the 160-pound champion for this year. Colton is also a volunteer youth coach at Canisteo Village Crossing Guard. He plans on going to SUNY Cortland for physical ed. Canisteo Greenwood, also Hornell Sports Night Sports Person of the Year, will be Hornell boys soccer coach Jim Tobin. Jim Tobin, born and raised in Hornell, graduated in 1980. He played soccer and tennis and was an amazing Hornell boys soccer coach for almost 40 years. Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll see mostly cloudy skies, breezy and turning much colder. Temperatures will drop into the 20s and 30s. On Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Could be a rain or snow shower in the upper 30s. On Thursday, mostly cloudy in the upper 40s. And that spring warmth will return on Friday with some sunshine and back into the 60s. I'm Rich Cornelia for the Voice of Liberty.
Virginia Cartwright welcomes you to the 63rd season for the Maple Tree Inn. It's the late winter break, the early sign of spring that brings a smile to every face. Folks all over the region wouldn't miss it. A visit to Cartwright's Maple Tree Inn, nestled in the forests outside Angelica, New York. They specialize in one thing only: buckwheat pancakes served family style, topped with the Cartwright family's signature maple syrup from the thousands of taps in the Maple Grove right outside the restaurant. Eggs as you like them, maple milkshakes, and the Cartwright's own seasoned sausage are great accompaniments. A rustic setting and scenic trip to the Maple Tree Inn are all part of the fun. Find out why families regularly make the trek from Rochester, Buffalo, and all over the southern tier, even Canada, Germany, and Japan, just to experience this special treat. Cartwright's Maple Tree Inn, only open February 4th through April 6th, 585-567-8181. Get more information and driving directions at cartwrightsmapletreeinn.com.
I'm going to take you down.
Not if I level up first. Hey, honey, you're on speaker.
We need help. There's no hot water. Again.
Call Taylor. 500 help.
Tony says call Taylor. 500 help.
Taylor's who we call for heating and cooling help. We need a plumber.
Taylor can help you with that, too. Heating, cooling, and plumbing. Call 500 help.
Tony, I don't know what I'd do without you.
Thanks for getting me into hot water, pal.
Hey, what are friends for?
Taylor. 500 help.
At the Ryan Agencies, like you, we live and work here. As costs rise, we get what you're going through. Let us look at your insurance to put money back in your pocket. You have to trust someone. Why not trust the Ryan Agencies, your local insurance inflation fighters?
Insurance protection you can rely on. The Ryan Agency. WYSL.
This is Gary Mervis, founder of Camp Good Days. When I began Camp Good Days, I made a promise that no family would have to choose between paying their bills or sending their child to camp. Camp Good Days, providing programs and services to children and families impacted by cancer and sickle cell anemia. Visit campgooddays.org to learn how you can enroll in a monthly giving program, because anyone with cancer deserves good days and special times.
If you own your own business and need garbage removal, contact Lippincotts. And if you live in a town where you have to take care of your own garbage removal, contact Lippincotts. If you need garbage dumpsters, Lippincotts rents them, and Lippincotts can come pick up the garbage too. These days, you don't throw old electronic items in the trash, and Lippincotts can remove your old electronics. Lippincotts for garbage removal, recycling, hauling, removal of asbestos or electronic items. For a free quote, visit LippinCottsRubbishInc.com. LippinCottsRubbishInc.com.
WYSL.
Hi, Tom Hamilton here, president of Hamilton Wealth Management located in Pittsford, New York. If you have more than $250,000 in savings and investments, and you've been wondering if your investments are really being handled properly, well, then it's time to at least get a second opinion.
To meet with Mr. Hamilton, call 585-381-9870 or go to hamiltonwealthmanagement.com. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations. Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
These extreme conservatives who are right to life, pro-assault weapon, anti-gay, they have no place in the state of New York because that's not who New Yorkers are.
That is the man himself. King Cuomo, second of his name, banisher of conservatives, grabber of butts, killer of grandparents. That is him. That's not me, though. I'm Larry Sharpe. I am here on Sharpe Way Radio, the voice of liberty. 585-346-3000. I want to keep grabbing some of these comments. One of the things that Mike Boss, he's got a lot to say. He does not like Cuomo. I get it, Mike. I don't like him either. But he says that Cuomo is going to bring more hell, more corruption, less efficiency. He's going to tell business and people who aren't progressive to leave New York City and watch the stock exchanges move. I don't agree with any of that. And let me tell you why I don't. Cuomo is not actually a progressive. He's not actually a liberal. He's not actually a Democrat. I mean, by name he is. Cuomo is a Cuomoist. This is why him and the other lefties don't get along. This is why so many people are running against him. He's not a true believer, except in himself. Cuomo was about himself. He would be a libertarian tomorrow. He'd be a Republican tomorrow, a conservative tomorrow. He'd be a whatever. As long as he could be in charge and have power, he would be whatever is required. If he lived in Missouri, he'd be a Republican. Doesn't matter. And his policies would adjust as he sees fit that will keep him in charge. That's what he cares about. So he's probably not going to be any more corrupt than anybody else. He might actually be more efficient. He might be. Why? Because he wants to win. So he might be more efficient. If you look at what he did when he was governor, his policies were garbage and helped his friends out. But he got stuff done. People say it. It's true. He did get stuff done. So efficiency, he might be better. It won't be stuff me and you want, but he still might get it done. He's never going to let stock exchanges leave. How do I know that? If you remember, when he was governor, he did threaten. He was going to tax transactions to make extra cash for New York State. And the exchanges said, do that and we'll leave. And he went, I'm just kidding, and stopped. He's not letting no stock exchanges leave. He knows how important the finance are. He's not an ideologue. I know, Mike, you think all Democrats are ideologues. Not all are. Some are. Mamdani is. De Blasio is. Cuomo's not. Cuomo's a Cuomoist. I think when he's mayor, I think I'll be proven right here. That's who he is. He's not an actual progressive. He's a whatever will get him in power, which can be good and bad, I guess. So, yes. The Bee's Knees says, I can't stand either Cuomo brother, but especially Andrew. Him running for mayor is a slap to our faces that you can get away with anything as long as you have money. Just sick. Bee's Knees, I wish you were wrong. But I think it's money and power, and I think it's very common. I agree. John says, women and seniors should be completely ashamed to support him, considering he got away with victimizing them and led seniors to their unfortunate demise. But John, you're forgetting something, a very important thing. Orange man bad. That kind of trumps everything. Orange man bad trumps he grabbed women's butts and killed old people. It trumps it. And you might go, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. That's why he's winning in New York City. Because Orange Man Bad still works in the city. Orange Man Bad doesn't work across the country. We can see that. But in certain cities, totally works. In New York City, absolutely works. Right? That part is still true. And that's why he'll still use it. And once he gets into power, he'll do whatever he thinks to keep him in power. That is what he's going to do. That's the horrible one. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Nicholas says, I've been following you for several years now. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I've been trying to make change in this state for 8 years. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. I started my campaign in July of 2017 to run for governor in 2018, and I've been yapping all day long since. In fact, I have been on WYSL now here for 5 years, maybe 6, something like that. This is like my 238th show. So that's a lot of shows. And we did it under different names. So yeah, I've been yapping for a long time, my friend. I appreciate that. He says, because I believe you have answers. True. However, you seem to be a voice crying out in the wilderness. I wish people would listen. Me too. My hope is, Nicholas, is that there is what people call a tipping point. Is that I keep yapping, and eventually I hit a tipping point where people go, oh, that guy's right. We should listen to that guy. Let's do that. I'm hoping I hit a tipping point. And most people do, who are successful, that is. They do, right? You look at some of the most popular radio talk show hosts, TV talk show hosts, longest running ones. On the left, you look at people like Sam Cedar, who's been doing this for 30 years now. Look at the old Rush Limbaugh, who was the king. Rush Limbaugh started in like Sacramento as like a morning show DJ. Glenn Beck started as like a morning show zoo guy. You know, it's, Beck and blah, blah, blah in the morning. He started that way, right? So Michael Smerconish, more on the left side. He started locally in Philadelphia until eventually he grew. So I think many people, Sean Hannity started in Huntsville, Alabama, and just kept going until he made something. So I'm hoping I'm that guy, Nicholas. I think we'll figure it out one way or the other, but I'm hoping I'm that guy. Fred says, Cuomo is hoping everyone has a very short memory. I think what he's hoping, Fred, and the reality of it is he's, in a case of New York City, he's correct. And that is, he's just going to ignore Republicans who hate him. He's going to ignore them. All he has to do in New York City, not the state, is win the primary. Sadly, in New York City, there is no way a non-Democrat wins the mayoral. It's 6-1. There is no chance. So whoever wins the primary in June will be our next mayor. So he only has to keep New Yorkers who vote in the primary happy. The next thing to remember, a lot of his supporters are wealthy establishment people. Their parents weren't in these homes. Their parents are in private homes. Their parents are at home with them, or their parents are in private facilities they pay money for. Remember, New York is the wealthiest county in New York State. New York, Manhattan is. And then the other counties that are going to give them that money, they're Democrats, and a lot of them are wealthy. They're going to support them. They didn't have a problem. They didn't care about lockdowns. They left. They went to Florida. I went to Florida. Just saying. I wasn't here for the lockdowns. I went to Florida. So people just left. So I don't think he's worried about the memory. He's going to say, if you're hurt, you ain't voting for me anyway. I don't care. That's what I think he's doing. And it's probably the right move for him. Gene says, our Governor Wolf here in Pennsylvania sent seniors to their lonely deaths too. Right. Thank you, Gene. There were like 5, I forgot how many, but I think there were 5 governors who all did basically the same thing. And they were all devastated. She goes on to say, families were prohibited from being with their loved ones at the end of life. It was reprehensible. Yes, Gene, and those other Democrats didn't want all those governors getting hammered. So they had to make sure that that went away. So let's go to, he was grabbing butts, and it's, he's a sexist or whatever, right? Let's do that. Let's make sure we do identity politics. Let's do the woke stuff. That'll get rid of all the real stuff, and people will forget about it. And it actually probably worked. You're right, Gene. John says, media didn't forget, in quotes, they just don't care. Corporate media is unempathetic when it comes to Democratic crimes. I think that's true. I wish you were wrong, John, but I think you're right. I think you see a lot of the media, particularly corporate media, only caring about what is the appropriate headline for their corporate masters, right? What do the corporate masters want to hear or see? Let's focus on that. And if someone goes, but wait, that's not like an important story, they'll go, what? Why do I care about that? I don't care about that. Okay, well, that's not important. It's not valuable to the people. And we care because what? No. We have corporate masters, and they don't like this. So we're not going to talk about that. And they want Cuomo to get back in charge because when he's in charge, the corporate people make lots of money because they just bribe him and he gets government money to them, as he's done for years. And by the way, Kathy Hochul also does that. So they would rather have them. Of course. Why not? Gene says, I told you at the time that Cuomo stepped down so that he could return to political power later. Yes, that was the made, Gene. You are absolutely correct. That's what happened. 100%. Yes. Roger, he says, wow, Cuomo, something else me and Mike Voss agree on. See that? This show brings people together. See that? You didn't think it, but it does, right? It actually brings a people together. Look at that. I love that. We are really doing a service here. We are doing a service. Jamie says, Bloomberg 2.0. You know, I'm not sure what he will do to be forward, Jamie. Is it possible for him to be a corporate mayor like Bloomberg? Maybe. I think it's possible. It depends upon, to be forward, what is Cuomo's next move? Here's what most people don't get. You go to become mayor, that's the end of your career, unless you got a plan. So, Jamie, what's Cuomo's plan? Now, that is a question. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your chat and your calls after the break.
Can't I get you to sing just a few bars of Empire State of Mind?
No, that's a campaign killer.
All right, fine. We're going to go to the end of the debate.
Unless you come to the shower.
All right, we're done.
Donald Trump and conservatives may have won, but you know the left will unceasingly try to undermine society and spread evil, targeting the innocent and God-fearing, especially our children. Help promote a truth-based society and try something different in 2025. The WYSL station can grow your business, professional
Roger.
organization, so allocate your ad dollars here. Reach our huge audience, entertained, inspired, and informed by leading conservative thought. Affordable, effective. The WYSL station's the voice of liberty. Call 585-346-3000 to advertise.
Most banks offer you a choice. Or maybe it would be better to say they demand a choice. Technology so you can bank like you want to, or relationships so you can get advice when you need it. But when you choose to bank with Tompkins, you can have it all. Powerful technology and the power of a face-to-face talk about your future. Because both are part of the best banking relationship you'll ever have. Tompkins, your bank of choice. Open an account today at tompkinsbank.com.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery in Avon.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop.
We have a couple more calls after Roger, so make it quick with Roger.
Tuned before you take it to the field. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes. It is Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty. So happy to give me a chunk of your afternoon. Mike Voss coming through with details. Thank you. He says Whitmer 4K, Newsom 8K, Wolf and JB Pritzker 2. Yes, tens of thousands of deaths all ignored. I knew it was at least 5. Sounds like 6 from Mike, so that's even better. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I'm going to grab some calls if I could. This is Roger. Roger, how are you, sir?
Now you good. Now you see. You said this whole thing about there were. If he went down on the nursing home thing, that would take down 5 other Democrat governors.
Yep.
Now you see. Now you see how political parties impede politicians from governing effectively, and why I want to get rid of them.
Agreed.
Let
Agreed.
them be out there. Let them be out there all on their own. Also, so what I want to know exactly, what can a mayor do independently of the state? At least New York City mayor can do independently of the state, that he doesn't need the governor or the state government for.
That's the issue that most people don't know. New York City mayor is one of the least powerful mayors, and that was my point earlier, across the entire country. And the reason is, in New York City, it crosses over 5 different boroughs or counties. Most cities, they are their own county. So the governor does not have to be involved. Everything in New York City crosses multiple counties, therefore the governor is involved. Not just that, New York City is a hub that goes to Connecticut and also goes to Jersey. Therefore, now you're crossing states. So there are federal guidelines and everything. So New York City mayor is actually one of the weaker mayors. The advantage Bloomberg had is he literally had so much money and influence that he could literally just say, I'm doing this, and they would go, okay. If you remember, Bloomberg bought himself a 3rd term against New York City law. Yes, so he just did what he wanted. Now, can Cuomo do that? Cuomo will have more power because of his ability to raise money, have money, and he is a powerful Democrat. So he will have more power. But reality, he has nowhere near as much power as most mayors. It's a valid point, Roger. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay. So let his butt stay in New York City and not expand outside of New York City.
I would take it, I guess, if I have to. I'm with you. Roger, I got to grab some more calls, my friend. Thanks. So I want to grab another call. Who is this?
Keith.
Keith, how are you, my friend?
I'm okay. Hopefully you are too. They say quickly that with everyone, everything is perception. So on our side of things, President Trump has gotten off to a pretty good start. Today happens to be day 50 of his administration. The point I want to make there, that assassination attempt in Butler, PA, when he jumped up and said, fight, fight, fight. He was already 78 years old, and that they said that was kind of his epiphany, kind of late in the game for those of us who were born conservative. So I wanted to ask, with your background in the Big Apple, I wouldn't be mean-spirited towards Mr. Trump, but in some ways, for me, he still is probably what he's always been, a Manhattan Democrat. So that's my question. Why in New York is he still the hated orange man, like with the actor Robert De Niro, who can't stand President Trump's guts? Why do people like De Niro go off, even when they hear the name Trump? Trump comes out of Manhattan. I don't understand to this day why he maybe a native son is hated so much.
So let me grab that. The first thing is, yes. What Trump actually is a New York City developer. That's really what he is at his core. He's a New York City real estate developer. And that's where he gets his aggressiveness from, his tenacity from, his deal making from, his transactional thought process, because at his heart, that's what he is. And I made a joke the other day, and I said, last November, the Republican Party didn't win. The old Democrat Party won. Everybody who won is a former Democrat, right? Trump, former Democrat. Tulsi, former Democrat. RFK Jr., former Democrat. Elon, former Democrat. Joe Rogan, former Democrat. The old Democratic Party ran last year. So I think that is a valid point. But then why do New Yorkers hate Trump? For the same reason why they hate RFK Jr. RFK Jr. has a lot of Democratic policies. It's true. Trump still has some too. The reason is they went against the party. This goes back to what Roger just said. The party says you must do X, Y, and Z. Since the party says that, you must do what the party says. RFK Jr. said, I'm out. Trump said, I'm out. when you say you're out, you are a traitor and you must be destroyed. Now you're a traitor and you become powerful and beat us. You are the ultimate evil. Does that make sense?
Yes, I know there might be someone behind me. So in closing, in one sentence, hopefully that thinking on the part of the Dems brings them down. If that they can't stand independent thinking, if they can't stand free speech, the Democrats really do deserve to go the way of the Whig Party. Thank you. Bye.
Agreed. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. I want to grab another call if I can.
Mike.
Who is this? It's Mike. How are you, Mike?
Larry, hey, can you hear
What's
me?
up? I can.
Okay.
3 minutes left.
Going to run for New York City mayor. He's going to win it. As his next thing, president. He is going to go for it. Is he going to go in 28 or 32? Who knows? He's still young enough. He could go for up to that 32.
So let me touch that piece. People always tell me, Larry, you don't understand. New York City mayors run for president. Yes, but why don't we ask President Bloomberg? Oh, wait, we can't. We could ask President Giuliani. Oh, wait, we can't. Or we could ask President de Blasio. Oh, wait, we can't, because they lose. New York City mayors do run for president unsuccessfully. Now, you have a valid point, though, Mike. Cuomo knows that, too. And I said this a while ago. I didn't think that Cuomo would announce until he had a deal for an exit strategy. I think you're right, but it may not be president. In other words, he might say, I'm going to run for mayor. I'm going to fix things, whatever the case may be, however he's going to say he won. And then he may run for Senate or something and then go for president. That's my
Well,
head.
Senate would make sense because Schumer's at that age. He's going to, I mean, good Lord willing, he'll meet the maker someday,
Well, I don't want to say that, but yes.
Well,
Yes.
he's at that age. But
yes.
Hey, one other quick question. How about Hochul firing 2,000 correction guards and not allowing them to get any other job? I think Trump should hire them for ICE.
I love that idea. I think here's what I actually want. I want them to fix the corrections issue because I don't want those experienced corrections officers leaving us. But I would take your answer, but I'd rather us fix the system and have them go back to work.
Right. I hope they go. I hope she decides that's a mistake. 2,000 guards, you're already short. How many years would it take to get 2,000 more guards just to replace the ones you just fired?
First off, people aren't joining. They don't want to be cops. They don't want to be law enforcement. They don't want to be corrections officers. You're right. It's years. Thank you for the call, Mike. I appreciate it. Guys, we had a great show talking about New York issues as always. I appreciate you guys giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.